no bye, no aloha. Gone with a rock promoter. A rock promoter. I know I saw, and now may die. Oh, the treats. Saw it on the wall. Motherhood means mental freeze. Freeze heads. No aloha. I know I saw, and now may die.
And then we just go like this to line it up. That's so we have line up spots. So we're good. We're going.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming over.
Welcome.
I'm pumped.
Welcome. What's the name of the podcast?
You're putting me on the spot now. So I guess I have to make the call. I'm thinking it's called Drinking with Danger or Drinks with Danger.
Right.
But I didn't actually decide that yet, so
The D on D is good, you know? Like
that's not
dicking around with danger. Or I was thinking of something like living safely with Nick Danger, you know? So it kind of covers both sides of your life.
It still
But-
could. I mean, it could change.
All right.
Because also John Ness is, I think, gonna be a big part of it,
Like a co-host?
or whatever. So
Okay.
it's like if he's gonna be here all the time, which he's not here right now, but if he's gonna be here all the time, then I would feel kind of weird just having my name be the main part of it.
Mine's like
You said you wanted a double.
okay. Well, that's because I always if it was warm vodka, so this is a little bit different.
I'm not gonna shoot it down. I've never had this
I'm
yet.
not going to either.
Wild Turkey Long Branch. Never had it.
All right, cheers.
Hopefully it's better than Wild Turkey because I hate Wild Turkey.
Me too.
It's kind of better.
That's good. That's the drink I lost my 21st birthday boozing virginity to. Was a Wild Turkey
Oh, with Joe.
with Joe Bondo at that Blue Dolphin.
Dolphin,
In
yeah.
Kapilani.
I went there, I think, once with you, but I didn't drink at the time, so it was like...
I don't know why we ever went there because those bars were awful. You know, like those were like the novelty of it. Like it's almost not novel that because they're these Korean run buy me drinky bars, but they're not really that over the top. They're just
all
like,
the same. All the ones I've been to are the same.
yeah, and they always change names every.
But 8 Fat's not the same.
8 Fat is not the same as those kind of bars because those bars are all like illegal, like what they do, like their the hostesses.
Oh, it was a hostess. I've
Yeah,
never
and they
really done a
changed-
hostess bar.
they-
I've never
and-
actually been to one.
Like at liquor commission hearings, like every hearing there would be like 6 violations of non-employees serving drinks or consuming drinks, acting as employees, like acting as
Right.
hosts, right? But if you're like a hostess bar, they have to be registered as hostesses, which is kind of a weird thing that's even legal anyways. But to be a hostess, you're like provide company, but you're not allowed to drink. But your whole purpose is to get them to buy you drinks. So it's like a really weird Hawaii like liquor like loophole.
You are
Not a
allowed to
loophole,
drink.
really.
You're allowed.
No, you're not allowed to drink.
But they can buy you drinks. That's
but-
the whole purpose, but you can't actually drink them.
Yeah. I mean, the culture of what a host being a hostess is that you're getting them to buy you a drink, or else the whole "buy me drinky" phrase wouldn't even exist, right? But like, you actually them as the host can't drink, you know, because if you're an employee, you can't drink
But
on the
they do.
job. But they do. So usually they don't actually have them become employees and register their names with the liquor commission. But the liquor commission then busts them because they have people posing as a role like a hostess.
That makes more sense, and it seems like a lesser charge.
Right, because they're like
Yeah.
getting paid, but they're not actually like an official hostess. So then they end up getting shut down, a lot of them, and then they end up just making a new bar with a different name, which is why there's like Club New Office 2
Yeah.
or Miss Saigon Passion 3, that's a strip club, but you know, like they all have multiple do-over names in the same location with the same people. Like there's no more Club Blue Dolphin because, you know, they got
Oh,
shut down.
I forgot to do something on here. There we go. This will help.
Oh, because you get distracted by wanting to like watch yourself.
I don't know. I was not paying attention to it, but I saw you looking at it, and I'm like, I don't want to even have the option.
Okay.
It's way better to know.
I mean, I can still look. It's still cool to look at, but.
Because I was like, what is he looking at? I was like, oh, that's right.
Well, I wasn't sure if we're gonna be like trying to talk to
No. I'm
ignoring
all of that.
Okay.
Nobody's listening.
I mean, not yet. This isn't like.
Well, they're definitely not listening now because it's not live.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows?
Are you gonna try to put it on like iTunes and all that?
Mm-hmm. Everything.
Wow. And
what is there? Everything. I mean, there's YouTube, for sure.
Yeah.
There's the app, not the whatever the podcast app is.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. I'm sure it's not that hard.
I mean, I think you have to show that people want to listen to it too. So who are we? Who's our market here?
Just Hawaii punk scene, basically at first. Everybody I've talked to has just been like, yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay.
Everybody I've talked to, I've only talked to people who I'm like, hey, I want to have you on, and they're like, yeah. And like a couple people I thought would be like, yeah, right, I don't want to do that. That sounds lame. And even the ones who I thought might say it sounds lame were still.
Who were the ones that said it sounds lame?
Nobody did.
Oh, okay.
But in my brain, just because I'm like...
Yeah, you didn't ask those people.
Okay, so here's the thing about me is like, for sure, every single time that I throw a big show, or I'm going to play a big show, but, you know, a downbeat show or a show, that's a big show. But like a show that I think is going to potentially do well, I doubt it the whole time up until the second I step on stage. Hell Caminos especially, Rats, whatever. I'm like, this is, like, I'll be, like, upstairs, downbeat, like, looking out, seeing a lot of people, and being like, well, they're all going to leave before we play. Like, so even, like, this thing, I'm like, well, nobody's going to listen.
Right.
No matter what. But I like having low expectations.
Right.
Because...
That's funny you said that. Mike is always acting like that, like, before El Camino's play, or, like, on a show, he's like, oh, make sure, like, we don't play, like after Black Square. I'm like, dude, you're going to do fine after or before Black Square, like... first of all, neither of our bands are that big, but at the same time, we've been around long enough where the same crowd's going to want to see us both play.
It's totally
like,
the same
people
crowd.
that like your band like our band, and he's like, oh, I don't think it's fucking cool. Like, it's, you know, like, it's your show. You guys should headline it and play last. And,
well,
like,
we've had that argument from, like,
Chemo Farms
for 10
days,
years.
Dude. Like, since, like, a long time. Like, he would bust my balls, like, at Chemo Farms if like, I asked
But
how
you do the same thing.
I don't really get like
you're like,
I don't
get
like anxiety about it. I just get more
right.
pushy about it, and I'm like, no, this is how it's gonna be. Like, I don't get like, actually, I wouldn't let myself get into a situation where I feel like I was gonna get maybe pushed into a slot we don't play. Then I've also surrendered to it too. Like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
We'll play first. Like the last 86 list shows we've played, except for the very last one, they've all been like first or second.
But that's because you guys like to play early, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't. But like. Otto does, Derek does, so I'm like, well, if that's what they want to do, if it's not going to be fun for them to do it late, then
Derek
fuck it.
Gets up at like 6 a.m., right?
Yeah, and Otto gets up at like 3 a.m. Like, he goes to bed at like 7 o'clock. Like, he's probably like in his REM cycle right now, you know? But, you know, it's like the days of like needing to play last, or, first of all, that ended a long time ago.
Well, that ended when shows stopped ending at 10.
Right. Once shows were going until 1 o'clock, then
No,
playing last was like, you know, a crapshoot, like. But then playing the second to last was like the prime slot, and I kind of realized, well, I guess 86 list just isn't going to be able to play that anymore, so fuck it. And also, who cares? Because our 86 list is just for fun for us, really. It's just literally so we can play music with each other, because that's the last remaining strands of our friendship, because we don't really hang out anymore. Like, Derek's got kids, Otto is a psycho and bakes cheesecake at 3 a.m, and then... Me and Kat are down, but I got kids too, so I'm hella busy, and you know.
And having you here is just the same deal for me. It's like we don't actually get to hang out, but
unless we're doing something, doing a project or something.
This is really, I'm more excited to do this because that it gets me that. It gets me like a one-on-one, hour to 2 hour, whatever it ends up being, but like with a homie or somebody I might not know that well. But if I don't know them that well, I at least think they're interesting, or whoever. Because all the people, like I said, like, made a list, started asking people, and everybody I talked to was like, yeah, I'm down. So I'm excited to just have, like, our conversations with people uninterrupted, where I turn my phone off. I want to get this Apple
And there's
Watch
not, like,
away
a
from
TV
me.
on or anything.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
That's
else.
true. It gets more and more rare. Like, you don't realize it when you're young, when we actually did hang out all the time, or you and all your friends, like, it gets less and less, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the big stopper, which I used to fucking be like, fuck that then, and fuck those people. It was like when people have kids and have a family.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a girlfriend or a wife. But
That
yeah.
too, that's the start of it. A serious girlfriend, a wife, and then kids. It's the smasher of that just camaraderie with your friends, but it's a beautiful thing because you're going on this whole new path and having, like, creating relationships from, like, the beginning of nothing. But, like, at the same time, I do miss, like, having just those times to, like, hang out too. But, you know, it's also, like, challenging to sort that out. Like, especially, like, Derek's got, like, 3 kids, so for him to, like, and he works super early, so for him to just come and, like, shoot the shit for an hour, it's asking a lot. But it's essential too, like, to maintaining relationships with people, because some people just give up on it and they just go, fuck it, I just can't do it anymore, it's too hard, you know?
There's certain people that are the reacher out guys that I'll have from, like, my buddy who was just out here, Jake from Portland.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy who would just randomly, not even, I wouldn't say every few months even, maybe like twice a year, maybe once a year, but that's a lot of times versus my 0 times reaching out to anybody ever. And I met him on tour.
Right.
He's a cool dude. We stayed at his place, saw him again on tour, and then I'd just get a random call from him. Hey, what's up, bud? What's going on? And I'm like, nothing. I don't know, what's up? Did you want to talk about something? Like, oh, just, you know.
Just checking in.
Just catching up. And it's like, oh, yeah, right. Like that thing that you do if you want to be friends with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you kind of forget because, well, especially, like, if you don't realize, too, like, your job, you work in a bar and a restaurant, so you're around people all the time, but not just people, you're around people that are, like, that follow your countercultural interests, you know, like being in a band, being a musician, whatever, being in the location. So, like, you have, like, all this constant flow of, like, friends and people, so you interact a lot. But imagine if you just got, like, a job working in an office somewhere, like,
totally,
you know, maybe you're doing a really cool job you like, but all of a sudden you're pulled out of that circle, and by the end of the day you're tired, you're not at a bar anymore, so you're not going to hang out and drink and shoot the shit. You're going to be like, fuck, I'm going home, right? Mm-hmm. And then by then you're like, I kind of don't want to, like, you know, it's like I'm already home, I'm setting up some, like, evening hangout session with a buddy. It's, you know. Well,
it depends what you're after, because I have a buddy who was at the bar one day, and I was at the bar, and he said something about, oh yeah, it looks like you're always having all this fun and blah, 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 and I was like, he's like, what do you got going on tonight? Or whatever, you know what I mean? And I was like, honestly, I'm just really tired, and I want to go home. And I was like, I wish I could just go home like 7 nights a week and just 1 night a week. But when you work at a bar, when you get off, you're at a bar.
Right.
So you clock out, I'm out.
Right.
You know, you don't have to go out, you're already out. And he was like, I wish I had that problem. And I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, grass is always greener. But then also you got, like, obligations to, like, music, like band practice, things like that too.
Right.
Any other project you put in there adds one more day. Like, lately my life has been, like, after work I'm like, wait, I'm always used to having some shit I gotta do, and now it's very rare because actually I just can't really plan a lot of stuff. So I just go, oh, actually, nope, it's just me. I'm gonna chill with Arya. We're gonna go down to the park. I'm gonna, like, drink some warm vodka at home.
And you're pumped.
And I'm pumped because I'm like, hey,
so
I'm free. Like, I'm kind of released a little bit from, like, just the obligation, or maybe I'm already in it, like you said, I'm already out, and it's like, to get home would be, that was always hard for me. Like,
you always run into somebody that goes, hey, let me buy you a drink, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, let me catch up with you for a second.
Right.
Oh, you bought me a drink, well, now I'm obligated, you know.
Plus,
I don't mean to say
not obligated,
but now I'm going to hang out with you for a minute, because I'm not just, oh, thanks for the drink, see you later, I'm not going to talk to you, you know, obviously.
Plus, after a drink or two, then you're actually like,
oh,
I'm actually feeling kind of nice now. Like, hey, look, there's somebody who's on their way home. Come on over here. Let me buy you a shot.
Yep.
And then it just fucking, it becomes like a snowball effect with anybody else that you're around. But yeah, it's been a weird transition into that other world, but I'm trying to enjoy it. But I also find myself having a little bit of anxiety because I don't have as many of the exchanges, the outlets of like feeling like, I don't know, almost like exhausting myself. Like before, every day was like almost I'd exhaust myself to the maximum, whether it be like with work, with social interactions, or with like fatigue, like because I've done work, I've hung out, and now I'm at band practice, and now it's late, and now I'm back at the bar, and now I'm like, fuck, I'm
gotta
just
get up early
out.
Again the next day,
Right, so now it's like almost like, hey, it's really chill and really relaxing. Like if you're home and you just are doing Netflix and chill, Like, do you ever kind of get a little bit of an itch and you're like, ooh, it's like kind of hard to settle in unless you like have some good weed or you have the right blend of booze, you know?
Sometimes I go through phases, but for sure I'll definitely have the phases of I'm just right here, like this is my spot on the couch. I sink into that corner, and I've got the weed right here, and then and I'm just like, yeah. But those are really my favorite times because anytime I find out, oh, it's Friday night. Oh, what are you doing? It's Friday night. And I'm like, well, I'm not playing a show, and that's way more frequent now because it used to be we're always playing a show.
Right.
Either Black Square was playing, or Hell Caminos were playing, or both bands were playing, or 86 is playing, I'm gonna go, or this, whatever. Now, I don't care who's playing on a Friday or Saturday. I'm just like, unless it's somebody I can't see all the time.
Right.
Because so many bands play so often.
Yeah. No, it's nice, like on a Friday night, and actually, I was feeling a little bit left out, and then with social media, if I heard there was some band like that I wanted to see, or I just couldn't make it out, I can just kind of check in and like see enough of it and go, oh, okay, I didn't really miss anything. Like it looks like it was fun, but I've seen it a lot already. Like,
which sucks. I want to be supportive of my friends' bands. There's certain ones, like when Kat plays with his band Lame with Kainalu, I typically make a point to be there because he doesn't play a lot of drums and he's pumped on playing drums. He likes it, and I want to be there when he's doing that thing because I know what that's like.
It means a lot to him, I'm sure, too. Like, whenever you show up to an 86 list show, I'm like, oh, cool, because I know you made a point to come out. And I know that's a lot, but it's also like, well, if you stop showing up, probably going to stop doing it, too. Like, you know what I mean? If I don't see a couple of, like homie faces in the crowd, and I'm not making new homies, like, then I'm gonna be like, okay, this is cool, because these guys, I don't even know these guys.
But I feel
it's fun for us, but at the same time,
you've always been so good at making the new friends. Like, I've always seen just random new people around with you from time. Well, maybe not so much recently.
Yeah.
But just like when certain people would pop up, and like Drew, for instance, was at your birthday in Vegas, and I'm like, whoa, you really made a big impact on this guy. Like, he really wants to keep up and keep being friends, you know?
Dude. Yeah, he came to my brot's wedding, dude. He like,
that's crazy.
Like, do you want to just...
Oh, he's your plus one,
I was
right?
like, do you want to be my plus one? Like, he's like, yeah. But yeah, like, sometimes back in the day when I was more, like, I don't know, like, really cared about who was at shows and wanted to, like, reach out, I would, like, try to, like, see people that I thought, this person looks like they might be interesting to be with and hang out with, you know? And trying to, like, give them a little invite in. Sometimes it would be wacky, you know what I mean? Like Wes was one of those guys too. But
yeah, he's another one I was thinking of.
But he's hanging out with Babyface, but then I did it with other people too. I won't mention names, but sometimes they would turn out to be weirdos, you know? Right? Remember?
Are we talking about that guy?
No, I don't know. I don't want to.
Right. Okay. Nobody's gonna know who it is.
Right.
The guy who got your name tattooed on his goddamn wrist.
No, he wasn't one though. He made his own way in the scene, you know. Like
that's true. But wasn't he living with you for a second?
Yeah. I did bring a lot of people like, oh yeah, you could just be my housemate, like, which is a big thing to.
Yeah, I always thought that was so crazy.
Yeah,
like the way that you would have these new people in your life, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about this one.
I don't know. But not in a bad way. I just don't know. I just don't know. Like, who is this person? What's their deal? Why
some of them I keep around because I'm like, no, this guy he's always going to be a little bit of an interesting person to keep in the mix, you know? So, I don't know. I like being friends with Joe Gogo for that reason.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? Like, Joe Gogo has, like, he can get under the skin of people, you know? I know some people that will say that.
Yep.
But, like, Joe's been, like, there for a long time, and I respect his commitment to, like...
He's got a lot of devotion.
Yeah, a lot of devotion to, like, not just, like, the scene and the arts and all that, but, like, to being a friend. If you were like, hey, I'm your friend. Like, he does hold that pretty hardcore, and a lot of people, they don't really care. They'll kind of just drift off, and they don't really care if they, you know, shift out of your friend group or whatever, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't happen as much these days. Now I make friends with, like, moms at the park that have kids.
Right.
And I'm like, what's up? Like,
yeah,
you know,
pumped.
But that's just how it is now. It's just different. Or if it's a dad at the park, actually, I'm don't want to bond as much, you know, which is weird. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm in a little bit in my own situation as, like, a single dad, and I don't have as much in common, you know, and I'm like the interaction is a little bit different, you know. Like, I don't know, maybe I don't really I haven't really figured that out yet, but I'm like, when I see dads at the park with their kids, I'm like, nah, I'm not
interesting.
But I don't know. I guess I've done better making friends with single moms, so they've just seemed to have more like.
Single moms.
Well, as a parent, right? Like the married parents as a whole, I'm good still. The married parents as a whole, I don't really connect with, right? So it's not really just single dads. I mean, both sides, right?
Yeah.
But a single parent, I think both sides I have more of a connection with because it's a different struggle, kind of, you know. So it's like
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's like
I can't imagine raising a kid with a partner, and I can barely imagine taking care of a dog.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about getting a dog, and then
really,
I was like, yeah, I was thinking
That'd
about
be
it
cool.
because we have pets. We can have pets in our building.
That'd be cool.
But
Ari would probably love it, right?
It almost sounds like more work in a way. You have a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's.
You know what's funny is you've always said you don't like cats. I bet you would love a cat. A cat would work for you so well.
My mom is telling me to get a cat. She's like, Aria loves cats, and I'm like, I don't know, man. My cat rule still applies. Like, I don't really.
What is it?
Care for them.
You gotta clean the litter box, and that's gonna suck. Does my house smell like a cat?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, but if I get up off of this thing, I bet I'm gonna find a cat here on my.
I bet you won't. I'm
So
a very
far-
clean person.
Well, because you probably know there's a podcast. You want to
Nope.
nice.
No. This is absolutely.
Dude, what? There's some fierce stains on this couch.
I fall asleep a lot on the couch with the beer in my hand.
Throw this away, man. It's time
I
for a
actually-
fresh one.
Yeah, I'm gonna steam
I
clean.
mean,
it.
this looks like someone peed in their pants
It's
right here.
it's not. It's.
And look right there too.
I know. Thanks for
Okay.
pointing that out.
Well, I'm just saying, dude. I know that you like your house to be nice.
But it's the only this is the.
Maybe throw a Mexican blanket
Okay.
over it or something.
Yeah,
You know?
I've got a pile of them there. Me and Cody moved into this place. It was like we were just going back and forth. Like, I'll get the surround sound, you get the, I don't know, blender. I'll get the TV, you get the couch. I'll get the this, you get the that, whatever. So he bought the couch, but we went together, and we both went like, do you like this couch? You like this couch? You like? And we bought.
Yeah.
Couches are really expensive if you want a good couch. This couch sucks.
Yeah.
But he spent $1,500 on it.
Right.
It's not the most money ever, but you know, when you throw $1,500 down on something, it's only been 3 years. That's $500 a year for
Maybe
a
you
couch.
could get it cleaned.
So what I did is I actually did a lot to this couch recently. If you see how overstuffed it is, I flipped the couch over.
Is this one I slept on when I was
Yeah.
sleeping here a couple times? When the Kanan's like
Yeah.
fat body destroyed.
Don't
Dude,
be
that
mean.
guy has a weight issue, yeah.
Don't be mean.
I'm just kidding.
That's terrible. How dare you? So I flipped it over.
Right.
Took the springs off, stuffed just like pillow. I'll show you, but I'm not gonna do it right now. But I'll show you later. Just stuffed pillows in there, and then put the springs back on and it's way more comfortable. It was really uncomfortable.
You
before.
stuffed pillows into your couch cushions?
I'll show you what I mean later. But
Like regular pillows.
yeah, but all it did was it made the springs push up the actual
see.
cushions more.
So the original cushions on the top still, then
Your-
it goes spring, then it goes your pillows.
I took the springs out and then I put them. So typically it was the spring and then what's in the padding,
Right.
right? So I took the spring out, put another pillow in there, and then pushed it so it made it poof rather than just being flat. So it made it more comfy. And then it used to have these feet on the bottom. Took those off to make it more flush to the ground because all of the stuff was falling out and the cat could get under there and hang out in the couch. And I was like,
Ooh,
I don't like any of
that's
that.
creepy. So that's the thing why I don't want cats. They do creepy stuff like that. Like
They're just curious. They're just overly curious.
I like your hat, by the way.
I made it.
That's dope.
Mike Reed gave me this like 6 years ago, maybe. Like
Yeah.
he would always come out and be like, "Oh shit, I feel bad." Oh, there, yeah, that one. I was gonna say I don't have one of his up, but I do. The waitress. But he'd always come and be like, "Here's a painting. Here's a sticker. Here's a this. Here's a that." And one of the times he came out and he gave me this, and I was like, "That's really cool."
Yeah.
And I tried to put on a jacket, and then it fell off. I think I just tried to iron it on because it was an iron-on, and it just fell off. And I'm pretty lazy sometimes about stuff like that, and it was sitting around forever. And then it's funny because I was just talking with Nate earlier about hats, and we're like big hat guys. Nate from Maui, and he gave me this hat. It had a Ruka thing. It was a little circle Ruka thing.
That's even more awesome.
And I wore it for a long time, and I liked the hat, but I don't really care about the brand thing. Whatever. It was just a good fitting hat. And then I was going through my stuff, and I found the patch, and I was like, oh. And I just Gorilla Glued it on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite atheist?
Oh man. Well,
I was trying to see if there was like an atheism like Instagram account to follow, but it's not really a united thing, So
is it not?
I haven't found it yet. Maybe it is, but I landed on some like atheism now and something else atheist, and they're just kind of random people that post just kind of random memes and stuff. But I was kind of hoping to find more of a centered focus to that maybe unifies the ideology or something, and maybe that's anti-atheist. Maybe atheists aren't supposed to be organized like that, but
I don't know.
Yeah, anyways, who do you if you listen to somebody I'll just tell you the most recent one.
Sure, yeah.
Was Ricky Gervais.
Oh, I love him.
There's this new show on Netflix. It's called Afterlife.
I have to check it out. I love him.
Yeah, it's about his wife passing away.
Man,
and him.
He's good.
But he just pitches it in such a fun way. It's hard to get. If you were not an atheist, you couldn't really get mad. I don't think.
Right. But I showed it to my parents are very open to whatever. But I showed them his last stand-up. Did you watch that?
Yeah, of course.
Killer. I had to have watched that 4 or 5 times.
Right.
So good. He's a killer.
Have you have you checked out all of his body of work his?
So The Office.
Okay.
I didn't realize until rewatching the U.S. Office for the 3rd, 4th time that he's a producer. Yeah, he was producing on that. So that's cool. I was glad that he was a part of that. And then the Origin of Lying, or what is it called? Did you ever see that?
No. Shit. Is it a movie?
Yeah.
Oh no.
You got to look it up. I'll find out what it's actually called because you really got to watch it. Don't want to give it away too much, but basically the premise is a world without lying, or the invention of lying.
Oh yeah,
the
invention
discovery of lying.
Right.
It's one of those things where a guy, I think Louis C.K.'s in it. I'm trying to think of. It's killer.
Sick.
It's killer.
I like everything he does.
I like everything he does.
Have you seen Extras?
Nope.
Okay, so there's a whole series.
I'm pumped.
And then there's also another one called Life's Too Short, and it features the actor who played Willow and also played one of the Ewoks in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But there's so many crazy cameos of other actors in it and stuff. But he's a producer, also acts in it too.
Okay.
But they're HBO shows. It's you'll scroll deep into the HBO series, and I would be like, oh, that looks interesting. I'm like, oh shit, Ricky Gervais produced this whole entire series.
But he's not. I want to see it if he's acting in it.
He is, but he's on the star. But you
Okay.
you get the flavor of his humor in there, just like how you do on The Office, where it's there's plenty of scenes without him in it, but you're
I love him.
Yeah.
His accent does so much for me. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's such a part of it. Just the way that.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the way he phrases things. I'm like, oh, it gets me every time. I love him.
Yeah, his British accent is from a certain region that's just real smart and sharp, and it's super it just hits you quickly, and it's
Because most of the what's his name, Jimmy Carr, you listen to him?
No.
I think that's his name. I hope I'm not getting it wrong. But he's got a killer stand up on Netflix. And same kind of
British stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I just love those British stand ups.
Yeah, in England or Britain, it's comedians are. I think that's the second place where comedy became a thing, right? A cultural thing, because it started in the U.S. for the most part. If you're not counting jesters and rural courts,
Right.
It was kind of a U.S. phenomenon. Then the UK caught on pretty quickly, but now other countries are slowly getting into it. There's I think there's a Netflix
for stand-up
show
specifically,
right? And it's about the
comedians of the world.
Yeah, and he's going to other places, and you can see how far behind they are because they're not that funny really. But in the Middle East, it's it's fucked. It's not good at all. And then when you see them try to cross over to U.S. or English speaking, it's really the jokes don't hit, because the comedy, the attitude, or there's no concept of sarcasm in their culture, and that's so much of comedy is sarcasm, and that deadpan kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They don't have that.
Do you watch a lot of stand-up?
I don't watch a lot of stand-up. but I watch the people that I watch a lot of. You know what I mean? Like I'm always open to new. We talked about this before. Like, is even like going to the comedy club? It's like like every new name. I'm like, hey,
you were the first person I went to the comedy store with.
Right. So like, listening to some of like the main guys that have podcasts are like I listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to what's his name? Bill Burr. I listen to what's the other guy that we saw? Chris D'Elia. So I try to like those guys. They'll throw you other names of people to check out because they'll be performing.
That's exactly what's happened to me every single time I got into the comedy store. Last time I was there, it was. Why am I blanking? The Fighter and the Kid is the name. Brian Callen.
Brian Callen.
Who just dropped a stand-up the other day.
Right.
I love him. Yeah. I love his stuff. It's great.
He's funny. He's almost like an amalgamation of all those three guys I just mentioned, and also like that whole kind of West Coast like comedy store group of.
It's almost like a genre of comedy, right? Like this kind of comedy. Like, because when we saw Anthony Jeselnik, I remember you were newish to being a father, and he did a lot of abortion, and I remember I was screaming laughing, and looking over at you, and your face was just kind of a little. And I was like, "Come on, dude, we're in a comedy club."
Also,
like,
okay, if I'm drinking, I get so emotional about like being a dad. Like,
understandable.
The first night on tour, the Black Square tour, somebody brought up Arya, and I was super tossed, and I ended up starting to cry, and I ended up going behind the bar, and the bartender's like, "Sir, you can't do that." And I was like, "No, I just need a little bit of time. Like, I'm really missing my daughter right now." Like,
wow.
And then I went outside and fell off of the loading dock and like smashed my eye, which I think I'm gonna have a permanent mark over here. It's been months and it's still like this little red kind of bump.
I wouldn't have noticed it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But and it ruined almost the first quarter of the tour because I had this like black eye and I had my fingers all got like almost like I was holding a pick and just drug it across the asphalt. Anyways, if I'm too drunk, I can't talk about kids. And I think the booze was just to the level where I was still sensitive. Also, I was a new dad, and now I have another kid. So, like, now I'm a little bit more chill about the whole thing. Now, I was still in the phase of, like you need to really support the neck, And now I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's all good. Like, come on, let's put the other baby on this side, and I'll just, like I'm a lot more...
It's like that, which I didn't see, but I remember hearing people talking about that documentary called I think it was called Babies.
Right.
Where it was like, oh yeah, and this is all just what I've heard people tell me, but there was like, oh yeah, the kids in Africa, they're just running around in the dirt, and like nobody's tripping out, and it's like the kids in America, they're like, oh, we gotta sanitize everything, and it's like, do you? Because I mean, we've been existing for how long now as humans, and just
we survived smallpox, we survived the plague, we survived all these different fucking flus and major illnesses that like wiped out, and tons of us survived, right? Not even because of not. Like, some of the simple things that we do now would never have done, like, kept that away, right? But, yeah, kids are durable, man. They're not that delicate. They are, but just use common sense, you know what I mean? Like, they get stronger faster if you kind of allow them to, not be ultra supported. It's just like an adult. Like, if you're just going to always be like, hey, is it okay if I talk to you about this and that? And, like, hey, let me just help you along the way. Like, anybody who gets, like, a comfy ride in life is gonna be more delicate, right? Mm-hmm. And if you kind of take off the training wheels a little bit earlier, then you grow up quicker and you're stronger and you're smarter and you learn how to be like more just quicker at thinking and sorting things out and being more cognitive faster. So with like a second child now, it's like, of course I'm smart and I'm using common sense, but I'm also not like, I know I can hold her in a certain way because if I
figured it out.
Yeah, simple things.
Figured it out.
Simple things. It's like having a pet. Like some pet owners are just like they carry their fucking dogs everywhere and shit like that.
That's silly.
Fuck that. You know what I mean?
It's a dog.
Like my ideas about a dog. Probably why I wouldn't have a dog.
They gotta live outside.
Because they're fucking dogs. They're animals. They are used to living outdoors. They have long claws on their hands and feet.
Cats can absolutely
they have a tail
live outside
to keep the flies from laying eggs in their asses. You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole
you have to realize this thing about dogs is we made dogs.
I know.
Humans made dogs.
Yeah, but we're not like we haven't over-evolved them to the point where they can't handle those basic things.
You think a pug, you think you just throw a pug outside and it could survive on its own and go hunt food.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't like
It
that.
couldn't even
kind
get
of
in a
dog.
trash can.
I think that kind of a dog
But we did
should
this.
be bred out. I think that dog should let evolution take it out. I don't think
Evolution would immediately
should.
take it out.
It should.
If it were to exist on its own, I think.
Yeah, I
But
think I have an idea about dogs that's why I
like a
have...
pit bull, maybe.
A pit bull would do fine in the
Yeah.
world. A German Shepherd, probably a Labrador Retriever, probably a lot of the bigger dog
Bigger
species.
dogs.
Like they
But
still
you're not
got-
going to get a big dog. You would get a small dog, right? You would have to get a small dog for your apartment.
If I got a dog, the smallest dog I would get would be like one of those kind of medium-sized, like terrier
Boston.
type. Yeah, but I don't want to get a Boston because like
Smash mouth.
it's so fucking trendy. It's so like everybody has one. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I like that dog. I don't like that.
I mean, if you're going to get a dog, I would hope you would adopt it.
Yeah, of course. That's the other thing too. I don't want to just go get a purebred somewhere, you know. But so I'd rather get a mix that's like a little bit of a bunch of things, but it's like a little bit of a scrappy dog that's never gonna bite my kid.
So here's
know.
the thing. You've been here for this long. My cat's just sleeping in a box over there.
Yeah.
She's not fucking with you. She's just not.
Well, she's well behaved. She knows the rules. I'm not against your
But
cat.
I think that a lot of you make the animal. I could be wrong. I think because cats probably have a mind of their own. But
some cats do, man. Some cats are not. As
I've
well
had
behaved.
2 black cats so far.
Yeah.
And they've both just been this way. I would really recommend getting a black cat for you.
Is a black cat like a thing?
A black cat is, from what I've heard, is they have these temperaments where they like to get cuddly. They like to get a little doggish. Like she likes to come over here and creep up and just kind of like I said, I like to post up right there. And what I do is I grab a cushion, I'll put it on top of me because she won't sit on my lap if I don't have a cushion on me. But if I set myself up an arm cushion and a cushion right here, and I'm just watching a little TV, 5 minutes, boom. It doesn't matter where she is. She's like, he put the cushion on.
Nice.
And she just comes over and perches up, and then I just pet her a couple times, and she starts purring. She's great. She's really great. I got her really young too, which
these are the things I don't want to deal with a cat, and you can tell me how this is going in your house.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Kitty litter and shitting in the thing. Like, Roomba. What does that mean?
A Roomba.
I know, but I mean, if the cat's shitting inside of in a box in the.
Oh well, the only problem with the litter box is they go in the litter box. You don't even have to train them.
Right.
And then they step out of the box, and a little bit of litter comes out. That's the worst of it. That's the worst of it all.
Okay.
So you use the Roomba every day. Do you have a Roomba?
It got taken in the divorce, so I have just a janky old vacuum. It was crazy. I lost everything, and all I have is what was in the backpack. So I had to start fresh, but I didn't have any money, so I couldn't get the good shit, you know? So I had all the good shit, the stuff I actually pushed you guys to get, you know? Because I had everything, and now I'm back to square one. So I have like a Walmart Shark vacuum that was left, which is fine. It's a good vacuum, but...
well, you're back on top now, right? You're running the academy.
I'm the food and beverage director.
You're at the top,
Director,
right?
baby.
There's nobody above you.
Well, I mean, in the museum there is, but
in the museum,
in
but
the
not
restaurant in the food and
cool.
beverage section.
That was quick.
It was quick.
It was like what, 2 years?
Yeah.
From the bottom to the top.
Huh. Well,
pretty
it wasn't
good.
at the bottom, but I mean, I came in about.
Whatever.
Yeah.
From starting.
From being a Lyft driver.
Yeah, you weren't.
From
you were
driving Lyft.
You were in a busser, but
and Uber, like
that's good.
I was hustling it.
Congratulations.
And making it work for a few months, sleeping in the melly room and on your couch. You know what I mean? It was a good shift, and quickly made my way. But either way, I still have to work on getting my toys back, you know, or my household things back. So, anyways, let's get back to the cat. So, okay, that's number one. So you're saying get a robot vacuum to clean up any little things because
I like it.
I'll just keep the Roomba in the area of the litter box the whole time.
That's a good call.
That's
a good call.
Make it stay there.
You set it up to vacuum, you know, whatever time that it's not going to bother you, and it just happens once a day.
Number two, I think there already is a way around this. Is the cat hair and the dander. which there are
That's also the
dander-free
Roomba.
cats, but there's that. But it gets on your stuff. That's what I don't want.
Not really. I don't vacuum this couch.
I think you have a cat that doesn't maybe shed a lot of hair. So
No, she sheds.
That's good.
So, because of these white tiles,
Oh, you see it, huh?
you see everything, which is why
pretty good.
I had to have the Roomba. But
Whose long hairs are these?
it's probably Evan or KK. Or that's Evan. I
That's
think.
Evan hair.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. That guy has a lot of hair on his head, yeah.
He has a lot of hair.
Yeah, it's
He
a
has a lot of hair.
tremendous amount of testosterone, dude, in his system, you know?
No. That's actually the opposite.
No, I think it stays and it shifts when you go bald, and then it goes to your
What
face
I heard
and body.
is the
Oh.
less hair you have,
I think you're right.
and the bigger your balls, if you have a little bit of hair and a big old set of balls, lots of testosterone.
Right. You have a lot of testosterone.
I think I do.
But you don't
which
have-
is weird because I'm not a fucking tough
No,
guy.
you're not
by
a
any
raging
means.
kind of a fighty guy.
I don't
at
think it
all.
has anything to do with that.
I think it does. Testosterone does do that. I have maybe a wily little stream of testosterone because I get real.
You do have bald patches here and here, so maybe that's
Well, it's not
where
like
the
a
testosterone
pure.
is coming from.
I don't know what it is, where it's coming in, or what. I think it's just a unique strain testosterone because I get real feisty. I have real strong opinions and thoughts. I get really angry. I do want to be punchy. I don't do it
You
very
think
often.
that has something to do with testosterone, though?
I think so, man. If you have like more, what's the girl one called?
Estrogen.
Yeah, I think you become a little bit more docile and a little bit more easygoing and not as.
I don't know. I'm
not
not, a
emotionally,
scientist. I
but
couldn't
just-
say, but
Then again, if we don't have estrogen, high levels of estrogen, maybe that makes them emotional. Because women can be also very, the same things I just described, like very like, you know, feisty and strong-minded and all that. I don't know. But
because isn't
well,
testosterone is what you would shoot? Like that's like
In
that's steroids, right?
well, if you take testosterone, you'll build muscle faster, have more energy. It needs a place to go too, which is I think where the byproduct of it comes in the form of like facial and body hair, right? But you're not super muscly either. You've
No.
gotten stronger because you're doing your whole thing. But I mean, we've seen the worst version of you too. Like all of Hawaii has seen that. I mean, we've seen the worst really.
Right.
And now it's looking better.
It's a little
that's
bit
good.
better. It's a little.
Hey, you're coming up. That's good. Good. How many miles are you running these days?
I'm not running any miles a day.
How many bike miles are you doing a week?
I ride to work and back for sure every day.
Okay.
That's 3 and 3.
Yeah.
That's 6 miles a day for sure. Well,
That's
6
more than
miles
a
a
lot of
day
guys
for
are
sure.
doing.
On just like on an average, if I'm gonna go on a bike ride,
How many, plus you're on your feet at work. People don't think
There's
about
that.
that. You're on
There's
your
that.
feet all fucking day at work. Like,
what's that?
waiting tables, that's a high, like, cardiovascular workout, dude. Like,
If you're moving,
4 to 6 hours, even standing up.
yeah.
Like, that's a lot. A lot
Well,
of people
so
don't.
I got the Apple Watch, and one of the things that it wants you to do is it wants you to hit like these rings every day.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe that it's at that actually right now. I can't believe that I've stood that many because I didn't do
What the
anything.
inside blue circle is
So
how
the
long
blue
you've
circle
you've
is
stood.
if you were imagining this was a clock, right?
Right.
So every tick is an hour of standing. So that blue wants you to stand. It wants you to stand for 12 hours a day.
Right.
But you don't have to stand for the whole 12 hours. I think you just only have to stand for like 5 minutes an hour. It's just like get off your ass a little bit for 12,
Right.
at least for 12 hours, get up a little bit. The green is
moving.
that's exercise.
Right.
So anything more than a brisk walk, and then the outside is calories burned, and you get to set that one yourself.
Right.
So you tell it however many calories you want your goal to be. But man, like when I go on vacations, I throw the whole thing out the window.
Oh, yeah.
I've just worked my ass
Yeah.
off for 2 months, and I just dump it in the trash.
Right.
And I get wasted every day. I eat everything I see, and
Yeah.
I don't.
I
work
throw
out
it
at
out
all.
every day. Every day I throw it all out. You know.
But that's why that one day I texted you. I was on a bike
You're
ride.
like, I fucking hate you.
I was like on a 30-mile bike ride, and I'm like, you know what I'm thinking about right now? I'm
Fuck
thinking
Josh
about
86.
texting Josh and saying, "Fuck you!
Yeah.
What have you done? You fucking little guy! Like no body fat. Like what's going on?"
No, just bricks. That's it. Bricks.
And that's
muscles.
just doing, just waking up and doing whatever you want to do every day,
Yeah.
not thinking about it.
No, it's genetics, man. But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I mean, there's pitfalls too. I can't gain. Like, I can't get bigger and weigh more. Like, I'm gonna always be the skinny guy at the place. But
so that'd be
I'm thin, but I'm
the same as me trying to work to lose some weight. That'd be you working to.
Oh yeah,
to
dude.
bulk.
When I actually tried to gain weight and like got a membership at 24 Hour Fitness and hired a trainer, like, dude, it took me like probably, I don't know, several $1,000s in training and supplements and
Jesus.
the gym fee to gain like 10 pounds, but it was fucking miserable. Like, I gained like
it's the
10
same
pounds.
for me to lose 10 pounds.
But
it's
it was
fucking miserable.
just shoving all this food in my face, everything I can eat, all this
You don't
food,
enjoy eating, do you?
Eating everything. I do like to eat. I don't like to
Do you
overeat.
love it? Like, I love to eat.
No, I don't love to eat.
Like,
No. To me, if I could skip eating, I would. So if it comes up and I'm like, well, we should probably eat right now, I'm like, fuck it, I got shit to do. I can do that all the time. But nowadays, I'm trying to think it out. I go, no. I know you're saying, fuck it, don't eat, you don't need to eat. But I want to eat because I also don't want to blow away in the wind, you know? So I try to be more thoughtful about it now. But there is nothing that I can't eat except for the things that I just morally don't want to eat.
You don't eat. You don't
You
eat
know,
meat. Yeah, exactly.
I eat seafood, I eat fish, I
What
eat
if-
salmon, I eat all
Would
kinds
you... I know you're gonna say no, but what if you got a piece of hunted meat that was from an axis deer over on Maui, which was a pest?
Yeah,
That's a pest. It's fucking up the environment, actually.
right. I feel you. I'm not opposed to that.
But James Coles, the guy that painted that painting right there, he hunts them out.
I'm not opposed to the hunting.
Would you eat it?
I'm not opposed to people eating that. I think that's the way to do it. It's more about, is it appealing to me? Am I driven to want to eat it? You know what I mean? I think that if you presented enough of those opportunities to me and said, this is that scenario, and is this appetizing to you, I would have to test it. I don't know. But what I do know is right now I'm not like oh, I really want some free range like deer from Molokai.
The only reason I would push this is because I was vegan with you
Right.
for 9 years. And man, when I had that first burger, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moral, ethical battle for me. I think about it often. I like let myself like go down the road every so often and think, do I want to eat meat again? And I just go, do I like how that, you know, the farmed animals that are, you know, cooped up in cages and, you know, butchered like in these slaughterhouses that are.
But again,
so
if
that
you're
whole
eating,
scenario,
if you're
no.
eating a free range,
Right.
or a hunted, even better. A hunted deer.
I'm
its whole
open-minded
life was
to it.
Its whole life was
I'm
whatever it
open-minded.
wanted it to be until it got.
It would be a matter
Shot.
of preference at that point. I would be like, okay, cool. Ethically,
So if I get my
morally,
hands on some axis deer from Maui,
you can present it to me, and I'll go.
you might try it.
Let me smell it, look at it, think
Oh.
about it.
It's gonna smell amazing.
I don't know. I just know that like
I
if
had
you
some buffalo.
the scenario you said like, oh, if you had a hamburger, like no, like I don't want to eat a hamburger. I've been
Well, it was a free range hamburger that I
Open
had.
game
It was a
diner
It was
with,
a
you know.
Big Island grass fed free range hamburger.
we serve grass-fed beef burgers too from Big Island.
Not into it.
When we opened Downbeat, it wasn't an appealing thing to me.
Right.
It was more like I also get that like the grass-fed Big Island beef like thing. It's probably not that. I like to really see it in person and see how fucking grass-fed and free range they are, you know. But I saw enough burgers coming out, right, where I would have been like, oh, I really want to eat that.
The smell never got you. The smell.
It's a okay smell. It just doesn't push me over the like where I'm gonna start doing that all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not opposed to it. I think hunting and hunters and the fact that most hunters are preservationists and do conservation work for
Right.
wild lands and public lands and keep animals proliferating in those areas and do a lot more for the environment than vegans do. Like I think that's cool. I support them doing that. I don't think prize hunting's cool. Going out and fucking shooting a buffalo or an elephant or a lion or a fucking rhino, fuck that. You know, unless it's for purpose.
So there's a thing actually about that, because as you were talking about that, I was just thinking about that. I wish I had just listened to it more recently, but there was this. It was actually on Radiolab, and they talked about hunting the white rhino.
I know about this.
Did you
Yeah.
listen to that podcast?
Yes, I did.
I mean that right. So basically, what it is
That's not prize hunting though. If
That's
you're
not-
gonna go and hunt rhino because there's a alpha species in that rhino group that's fucking killing other rhinos and actually decimating the population, then fucking hunt that rhino, right? Because you're killing a species. That one rhino is killing way more. It's putting way more of an impact.
Are hunters actually allowed to just go out and wildly hunt rhino if they want to? I don't think so.
No, but people do it illegally, or they get little permits to go do it, and they like that dentist that went and shot the fucking, I forget if he shot a lion or a rhino or something.
I think it was a lion.
He shot some animal that it wasn't on a game land where they were allowing them to be hunted, but it started there and then went off property. So then they were like, oh, it's fucking free range, we can shoot that guy now. Like, that's not for that reason, yeah? Like,
I guess
purposeful
it depends
hunting,
what their intentions
like,
are.
killing animals, I'm not opposed to. Like, I don't think every animal should have a natural death. If it's posing more of a risk to decimating its own population because it's a very aggressive animal, like in the case with those rhinos, then fine. That makes sense, right? Now, some rich dentist who fucking pays $1 million to kill a lion to track it across a nature preserve till it goes off the campus because they drug some meat outside the campus. Fuck that, right?
Where do you think that $1 million is going?
I think the $1 million goes sometimes to preserve the that game ranch, right?
Right.
If that's the case and they have a way of sustaining the population, then good. But if the money's just going into some hands of some sketchy dudes because they want to send this guy home with a lion fucking skin, you know what I mean? Every situation's its own, right?
Yeah.
My point is, I'm not opposed to killing animals if it's going to help animals sustain a normal existence on the planet, right? Yeah, I'm not opposed to eating meat as an entirety, like just more so for me. I'm not super drawn to it. Present me with enough opportunities, maybe I will. That was how it was with seafood for me, because I was not into that. And then a few times I was presented with, like fish caught from our Pacific Island region and was like, okay, maybe I'll try this,
I totally understand, because that's the same way I feel about drugs. I was completely opposed to doing any sort of drug ever.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then...
Like, what does it say?
Yeah.
Poison free?
Yeah. And then I decided I wanted to do drinking.
Right.
And I liked it.
Meth was really good.
And then...
You loved it.
Yeah. But I still feel the same way about drugs, except for alcohol, which I don't know why, because alcohol is terrible for you, but I like it.
It's like the worst, yeah.
It kind of is, but it's...
I mean, literally, like, the most death, like, accidental or purposeful is all linked to it, like, more than all the drugs, but I understand. It's also probably the one that's consumed the most, but maybe the proportion...
Okay, so there's that.
Like, maybe the proportion of, like death associated with it is tiny in comparison versus, like, heroin or something else like that.
I don't know. I'd be interested to look at those statistics, but...
I mean, you think if everybody... in every continent on the world drinks alcohol, or even say 75% of them drink alcohol, and how much whether it's like domestic violence or murder or people being hit by cars or driving drunk, like what's the percentage here?
I still think it's the worst.
Probably.
Even compared to meth, even compared to heroin, I think it's probably still the worst.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, because also people that get into like those kind of like really hard drugs, like they might already be kind of like leaning into those hard lifestyles anyways that might lead them into more violent opportunities or situations. I don't know for sure.
It's hard to say.
It's a fact.
Yeah, without being able to actually look at the statistics.
But we know it's not good for you physically. We know it's not good for the public. We see a lot of shitty things happen.
And there's nothing being done really.
They're not gonna curb it. Dial it back.
There's nothing being done to like help people be like, hey, do you want to get off of alcohol?
Well, there's AA. I mean, that's huge. That's a huge thing.
There is that, but it's not. Well, okay. No, maybe
there's the support systems for those who need to get off or want to try to. There's probably more than anything, really.
I know for sure that in some countries in Europe, that where they've legalized heroin, that they've had a lot of success with getting people off of it.
Oh yeah, because they open up facilities where they go,
Right.
cool, did you want to use heroin? Great, this is going to be your
Here's some
apartment.
heroin you can have.
Here's the heroin every day you can get. Here's all the programs if you want to
But
start
you got to
working
do
on
the
getting
programs,
out.
I think, as
Yeah,
well
like,
as...
Here's your, like, they give you basic, like, there's a place, I think it's in Australia, where they give you a place to live. They give you your heroin each day. It's socialized. It's all covered by the government.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little tiny little fucking, jail cell sized room, but at least you have a place to sleep and live. You're less likely to go out and commit crimes because you don't need the money, right? You get meals, you get drugs, you have a place to be, you have networks and socializing, you have social services if you want to get off of it, because a lot of them do. They just don't know how. They're just addicted, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is in a lot of places that have legalized drug programs. It's all tied into here's the safe way to do it. Here's how to do it and not be on the streets committing crimes to do more of it or putting yourself in more risk, right? And then you can integrate other drugs into your system or medicines to get yourself off of it. So it makes sense, I mean, U.S. is just way behind on all that kind of shit. It's just like a cultural thing. Like,
I don't know if we're behind it or if we're just greedy.
I mean, both. We're culturally not down for that kind of shit. We've been pushing the anti-drug thing for so long, and the war on drugs, and DARE, and all this. It's like,
It's hard to
how are
turn
you
your
going to
back
be
on
like
something that's been going on for our whole lives?
Yeah, and that tons of money has
I'm
been
gonna put on a
pumped
couple
into.
lights because I feel like it's getting a little dark.
Yeah. But like all this money has been put into like these programs to like keep people off drugs or to that demonize drugs that how are we going to switch gears and go, oh, actually, cool, we're opening up some free heroin facilities.
Well, we're working
now.
on it right now with the marijuana thing. We're working on getting it as legal. Like, it just...
Yeah, because...
At this point, it's almost ridiculous. Like, why doesn't the country just go for it?
Well, marijuana has all these crazy, like, medical benefits, like overwhelming support and history, like, and science to back it up. So, like, after so much time, we can't really, like, demonize it the way we once did. Other drugs don't have that. Meth, heroin, LSD might. Those kind of drugs.
I think it does.
There's not addiction issues in the streets with LSD or like mass death or crime associated with LSD or mushrooms. Like those drugs don't get policed that hard, That's why. Oh. But what we need is more programs like to help facilitate recovery in a way that's not criminalizing like the hard drugs that actually people die from, which is like heroin and meth. Booze is like that wild card one, like, oh, we kill a lot of people too, but we're totally legal. It doesn't make sense. That's when you look at booze and you go, why is that? How is this?
I think because they tried the prohibition thing and it failed so hard, but then they do the prohibition thing with meth and with heroin, and it's still failing hard.
Yeah, but
it didn't fail as hard as the alcohol one did. I think
it's
that
a different
one
tier of drug class. You know what I mean? Like alcohol is not like it's a very like social, cultural, like historic drug that people have used for centuries, right? Alcohol, fermented fruits and plants and vegetables, right? It's very like has this deep human kind of like thing that I think it's hard to just criminalize 100% and like wash it away. The closest one, like meth, obviously doesn't have that, but heroin does, like opium dens and opium, but not widespread cultural acceptance either. You know what I mean? Heroin dens or opium dens, were always kind of a shady place to be, right?
Sure.
They're part of a cultural segment in a society, but not like just,
Do you think this is, I only know a handful of people that I know that have done heroin, to be honest, but I find it that people who are on heroin are probably less crazy than people who are on alcohol. I could be wrong.
Oh, well, if you're gonna say crazy, like mental health
just
issues.
No, not crazy, but like crazy as far as like going to either commit a crime or do something that might harm somebody else or do something that might harm themselves.
It's hard because everybody does alcohol, so you can't really be like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, oh, Nicole Jones does alcohol. Is she like, she's way more likely to commit a crime than
Right. There's people who are very on their because it's
a
vast
broad
majority
spectrum
of people doing it.
But when you say like those who like really seriously like abuse alcohol versus those who just use heroin like usual, like a Tuesday, then I think they share the same level of potential of doing damage in society or whatever, right? Heroin is one of those things, like, and I don't know, I've never done heroin, but from what I've seen and what it seems like, I think that heroin is
a single or
just a single is so addictive that when you have that overwhelming feeling that you need more because you just feel like shit.
Yeah, that's got to be heavy.
That you have to at some point just excuse morality and the laws and just say, I don't care. I'm so not well right now. I have to get money to make this next hit happen so I can feel okay again. And I think there's more innocence to that in a way, because it's not necessarily like I want to get high and fuck shit up and be crazy and wild out. It's like I'm not well. Okay. Like I'm just actually trying to get well again. In the beginning stages of using opiates, like I've used opiates to like have a recreational experience. There's no risk of any of that stuff going on. There's no risk of I want to commit crime or that I need to get the money to have this recreational experience so badly that I'm willing to hurt somebody else or rob somebody or steal. But opiates are so addictive that they put people in that position, right? With booze, I don't know, like they're not really parallels. Like it's not like more likely on booze in your heightened state of like alcohol in your system, you're more likely to commit a crime, right? Mm-hmm. On heroin or an opiate, no.
That's what crime are you gonna commit? That's what I'm saying. That was exactly the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, you're right there. Maybe sleep somewhere you shouldn't be sleeping. Yeah. You know,
that's what I'm saying.
It's one of the least probably dangerous drugs as far as what you're gonna do when you're high on it. In the early stages, it's one of the least potential like danger drugs where you're gonna commit a crime to get the drug in the first place. But it's more about once you have become addicted to it, right?
Yeah.
So
you go through what you'll do to get it.
Right.
But you're doing those fucked up things while you're not on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, you're sober when you're doing the crimes.
Yeah.
So LSD, no, you're gonna commit a crime on that drug for sure if that's what's up.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do it getting the drug or trying to get the drug.
Right. Meth, like.
No, meth. You're gonna do the crime. Maybe both. Actually, meth might be the fucking one. The worst one.
Maybe that's
because
the worst one.
On the drug, guaranteed. Most like if I gave you meth right now and me, we're gonna go commit crime right now. You know what I mean? Like
just
we're not
whatever
gonna sit
it is.
here and,
just
and
whatever it
shit.
is. Yeah.
We're gonna go find something to do illegal. We're gonna, especially you and me. Like I'm gonna like be egging you on.
Right.
You're gonna be challenging me to it.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Weed? No, not so much. Maybe you steal a candy bar. You know. Or a bag
No.
of chips, but you're so paranoid. You probably will steal it and then go bring it back and say sorry.
I drive really, really cautiously when if I smoke. I don't really like to drive too much when I've smoked, but I will, and I'm not tripping. I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna drive a little bit
a stoned driver
more
is
careful.
the safest driver usually. Like,
and then if I get stoned at home, I mean, yeah, I'm just relaxing.
Booze, dangerous to be driving drunk, guaranteed.
Yeah, and more likely that if somebody goes, hey, you just had 2 drinks, do you want to drive? And you're like, oh, well, I've been drinking, maybe I won't drive. But after 5 or 6 drinks, like, hey, you've been drinking, you want to drive? And yeah, of course. I'm fine. What does every person you know who gets drunk on a regular basis say? Hey, I think you're a little bit drunk. I'm not drunk. Why is it that when you're drunk, you don't think you're drunk? But when I'm stoned, I know I'm stoned.
Yeah, I can go through so many scenarios with you when you're drunk about things you did that were inappropriate. Where I said, Nick, you're really drunk, and you're like, no, I'm fucking not drunk, like ready to cry and basically dismiss me as your friend for life.
You're done.
You're fucking done. Yeah. We're not fucking boys anymore. We're not friends anymore.
You kick me out of the bar tonight, I'm never coming back. I won't come to work.
I quit my job. I quit friendship. I quit our bands. I quit everything we did.
Why is alcohol like that?
It's not a good drug.
Weed's not like that.
It isn't. It's the most yin and yang drug. Booze is the most one. The other ones have a lot of gray area, or they're all hard one way or the other. I'm gonna actually kind of talking through it. I'm gonna say heroin is really not the worst drug. It's more about just the addiction issues with it.
Right.
It doesn't incite
Which sucks.
a lot of negative behaviors or bad ways of acting out when you're on it. It's really just its own thing. And LSD is like, you know, that's one of those like spiritual drugs. MDMA too. Like they're not like these are drugs don't want you to hurt people, or they don't bring you to want to commit crimes. Like they might have impacts on your health, but they're not like gonna draw out the darkness in you. You know, weed doesn't either. Mushrooms can bring out your paranoias and your fears sometimes, but it can also be like a nice ride that can be mind opening and mind altering and be euphoric.
All my closest friends, not all, but some of my closest friends and my dad
Wants you to try it.
they want me to do LSD or mushrooms with, like, everybody is, again, not everybody, I keep saying it, but the people that are very close to me a lot of times will say, man, I really wish you would just do mushrooms or LSD with me. And I always have the same reaction. I go, I really want to, but I'm terrified of it.
Right. Well, it is, that's for a good reason. You hung out with us one night when we did a lot of mushrooms. And
At Malaikana?
No, we went to Ho'omaluhia on Pat's birthday. Or Pat's
Oh,
party.
yeah.
And we were eating handfuls
That was
of
an
mushrooms.
amazing night.
That was a really fun night. You saw what it looks like in the right environment for it to go well.
Mhm.
It was really good. And so I tried to go.
Pouring rain.
Yeah, it
for
was
4 hours.
all great until I got into my tent and tried to go to bed. But I think nobody had a good time.
Really?
I mean, nobody was. Like,
At the
we're
wind
wet.
down.
The wind down.
I had a pretty great time. Well,
Well,
I
my-
got bit
my
by a
tent
million
was
centipedes.
wet.
I was hammered.
I think somebody was getting bit by a centipede, or maybe I got bit by mosquitoes.
No, I was getting bit. Everybody's calling me fat back because I got bit so much of my back
Oh, yeah.
that my whole back was swollen with mosquito bites.
Yeah, in the best scenario, the best situation, it can be really positive and good. It's really hard to like pre-plan and like make sure the scenario is going to go all good though, you know, especially if you're going to do it with other people, because somebody else might have a weird reaction. It's good to be scared, because that's the real way to look at it. It could be scary. You're tripping your mind out. You're putting yourself into a place where you don't have that normal control. It's more close to weed than booze.
Yeah.
In booze, you feel more in control. You make your decisions. You fucking dig
Right.
in. You know what's up.
Right.
With weed, you get a little bit dizzy and a little bit kind of tripped out.
Every
a little
once in a while, I'll
confused.
have like a tough, I'll have a heavy time when I've smoked a bit too much, and I go, okay, I'm getting a little freaked
a
out.
little bit too much, yeah.
But I also, I've found recently, in the past, I've had like some like panic attacks, and I'm like, oh, everything's crazy. Like, oh, was that weed? Was that bad weed? And
Right,
no,
right.
you're just
Smoked
your
a little too
mind.
much,
You know,
yeah.
something happened with your mind. But I've been able to like see my friends who have like I've had friends over who have smoked a bit too much weed, and they're just like having a rough time, and I go, hey, listen, you smoked weed, and this is the way you wanted to feel, so just enjoy the feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, it can get...
Just like I
Overall,
remember I was sitting at my dad's house the last time I went, and I was there. It was my two brothers, my sister-in-law, their 3 kids, my mom, my dad, my aunt, and I was the big drinker. Nobody was really drinking as much as me, but I was pounding drinks and I was getting them to drink, and so some of them were getting a little bit more tipsy than they would normally because it was me. And I was getting a lot more stoned than I would normally because it was them. And my
Right.
dad's just like, throw some more concentrate in the joint.
Oh,
and
boy.
so we're getting like, the dab.
as baked as you can get.
As baked as you can get. As baked as you want to get.
Max
There's
out.
like, I mean, we're talking, there's just like mason jars of weed around that it's just like, it's legal there. My family works in the industry there.
Yeah.
It's all in the up and up, and it's around. It's like going to the store and buying a 30-pack and a couple bottles of whiskey. It's no big
Right.
deal. It's just whatever. It's just there. And my family's a bunch of big stoners, and I feel like I was on the low end of the stoner spectrum. So
You were?
I'm drinking,
Okay.
but they're smoking, and I remember this joint going around that seemed to go around for too many rounds, and I was like, please, just stop coming around, you
Right.
know? And every time it would get handed to me,
Plus you're drinking.
plus you're drinking.
So you're going to be getting dizzy, right?
I actually like the crossfade. That's my favorite.
Oh.
The crossfade is my favorite.
Really? Good.
Yeah, I like getting stoned when I'm drunk better than getting stoned when I'm sober.
Yeah, I don't like getting that crossfade, that thing.
Really?
No.
You get spins?
I get spinny. Yeah, I get all spun out. I don't like it. I can't deal with it. I can do a little. If I do too much, I know
like
when to cut it off.
I feel like alcohol is the equalizer. Like, if you're too stoned...
No, cocaine's the equalizer. I'm just saying, if you want to equalize out, if you're just too much of all of it, and you need to go right back to ground zero, but feel nice, that's why people do cocaine, man. It just brings you right back to...
I've never understood the point, because it's like, I'm drinking all night to get drunk, but then I'm going to do something that's going to make me feel less drunk so I can drink more to get drunk.
No, it's not about... Because once you do equalize in that way, it's not to drink more to get more drunk ever again. It's you've gotten too dizzy, too loopy, too weird. You're too out in outer space, and you're just going further out. And you're like, fuck this. I don't want to go any further out. I want to whip back into... My brain works again. I'm smart again. I know what's going on. I know where I am. I know what's happening, who I'm with. And also, I feel euphoria. And it's bumping up all those dopamines in your body. It's pushing all this heavy pleasure chemical. So you're going, I feel really nice, and I fucking am back home. I was out there in the cloud, and now I'm sitting on the couch again.
Yeah.
That's why you do it. That drug is not a drug like on any scale of any other drug. Like how... mushrooms or weed and booze, that combo, and the crossfade and LSD, and you just get trippy and you just go outward. Even like heroin or like opiates, where you just get like more and more cloudy and tripped out and leave your body more. That drug just goes, here we are. I'm right here.
Yeah.
I feel great, and I'm good, and I know what's going on.
So I've never done it. You know that.
Good.
So, but I always wonder what it is about it that makes people want to do so much of it.
Well,
you know,
nobody wants to do so much of it. That's the thing. Is that you do your when you're feeling like that. Say, I've done this before in the past too, where I've had that crossfade when I'm just getting so fucking dizzy, trippy, and I'm like, oh my god, if I have any brain cells left, please call a drug dealer. Like, please get him over here, because
so it's like
going.
It's a save me.
I'm like, I'm escaped. I'm gonna be lost. I'm not even gonna be able to use my phone. My phone's gonna be floating in the air. I'm gonna be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's like the last call. Then if it comes through and you do a little bit of cocaine, then you're like, whew, fucking hell, that was a ride. Here I am. I'm still feeling all kinds of fucked up, but I'm actually cognitive and here, and I'm thinking, and I feel okay again. I don't feel sick and nauseated and dizzy and confused and mixed up. I'm just like, oh, I'm here again. I feel a lot of effects of other things. I feel still euphoric and high, but I don't feel fucking like I'm gonna like lose my grip on reality. But the problem with that drug is that after that, in about 15 minutes or so, it starts to fade away.
Oh.
And then
so you go back to drunk.
Not really go back to drunk. You go back to even a worse place. It's like you go back to drunk and all the sicky feelings you were having, but you also have this crazy, overwhelming feeling of like this dopamine depletion. Like I've had this all this pleasure dumping in. You're like, oh, I feel great. I feel really good.
Yeah, you're just
and then it's like,
I'm not doing it.
I mean, it's nothing for me to want to sell you on. So good. And then you, as soon as you do another line or bump or whatever, then you're like, all right, oh, here I am. I'm back. And then you just chase that for a long time.
Yeah.
The only thing I could recommend if it was ever on your spectrum of a possibility, the only way it's not going to be like that is if it's really good cocaine.
Right.
Then I think it's okay. Like in Bolivia, I did good cocaine, like legit cocaine.
Bolivia?
Wasn't like that.
When were you there?
When I went to Peru on my honeymoon, I went to Bolivia after that.
I don't remember that at all.
It was in 2012. But we went over there, and I knew I was going to do some good cocaine when I was there.
Bolivia and Peru. Wow.
Yeah, it's just south of Peru.
That's awesome.
Copacabana, Lake Titicaca, highest elevated lake.
Lake Titicaca.
Lake Titicaca is the highest elevation lake. It's at, I think, about 16,000 feet above sea level, which is like Mauna Kea, like way higher. And there's like fucking like civilizations, ruins underwater. There's all kinds of crazy shit up there. Anyways, in Bolivia, I did try some of the cocaine up there, and it was nice, and it was euphoric, and it was a good feeling, and I felt.
Keep talking.
Smart.
Do you need a beer? I'm gonna grab
I'm
one.
Good.
Okay.
But what I didn't have was that gross feeling of where you're like coming down and you just want to do more. It just kind of like left you off. You know when you smoke a joint and you smoke a good joint, and then when you're coming down, you just go, cool.
To sleep.
To sleep, or if it's early enough, you just go, oh, cool. I guess it's time to watch a movie.
Yeah, I could have a little coffee and go
have
on
a
with
little
my
coffee
day,
and go on with my life. So I think that in the U.S. we get a lot of bad drugs in general, and I think that's one that gets polluted the most.
I bet.
And it gets polluted with speed and caffeine.
Yeah.
People cut it with that drug. So, anyways, don't do that drug probably if you can ever help it. But if you ever, that's what I would tell you in an emergency. I told you this before, I think a long time ago. In an emergency, I think anybody who's really losing it and they cannot deal and they're really lost and they're really fucked, just think of it as a medicine that you need to get back to ground zero really quick. I think it would bring you back home and you go, oh fuck, okay.
Well, when we were in Vegas, I remember I was really fucked up one of the nights.
Yeah.
On your birthday night.
Oh yeah.
And somebody saying, hey, listen, if you want to have a little bump of cocaine, you could, and it'll bring you back, and then you could just hang out with everybody. And KK later on she goes, she's like, yeah, you came to me and you said, like really depressed. Like, I was just like, well, I don't know, my friends want me to do cocaine so I can
Oh
hang
my
out.
God.
But like,
yeah, she must have been like,
but
not
I was like,
happy about that.
no, she wasn't. No, she was. I mean, she's so level-headed. She was just like, I don't know what she said at the time. I was out of my mind, drunk. I'm in Vegas drinking all day long. Like, we woke up, started drinking mimosas, and then just the whole day, like, we like gambled on basketball. We did this, we did that, whatever. Everywhere we went, it was just drinks.
Yeah.
And you know, little bites of food. And then it's like punk show, and then there was like backstage with free beer.
Right.
So we're like going and getting, and all the beers were like high percentage beers.
Right.
Were you good?
Yeah, for 50 minutes.
Okay. And yeah, like, what was it? Who was the beer sponsor?
Was it Ballast Point? Lagunitas.
Lagunitas, yeah.
Lagunitas.
And I remember I ran into the guy who was like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I brought all these cases of beer, and like, as soon as I ran into Larry and his flask, you know, I think it was like Jesse was like, he's like, oh, don't buy beer at the bar. We got a bunch of beer backstage. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went back and I was like, oh, I like to drink shitty beer.
Yeah.
Like,
not like high octane fucking IPAs.
yeah, and
shit.
so I'm like, that's like every beer you drink. That's like drinking a beer and a shot in every beer.
It is.
And
yeah.
then I typically like to have a shot with my beers.
But
so I'm going to the bar and I'm getting shots at the bar.
Then you're going
because
getting a beer
and
shot
also
in a bottle.
because I was running into 1 million people because you had 1 million people show up for your birthday in Vegas, which is fucking pretty impressive.
Yeah. Kind of a big deal, dude.
And yeah, I was out of my mind. And so yeah, by the end of the night,
You got put home, I think, before Melee did.
I don't know.
You got taken home early.
It was definitely
early.
after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It was definitely, but I mean, for Vegas, that's pretty early.
Yeah.
But
God.
well, the night before, I was like, me and John were at the tables until like 6 a.m.
Oh, John's a maniac. John S. has really got maybe a gambling problem.
I think he just likes it. I don't know.
I think he likes it. He doesn't have a problem, but I think if he lived there, he would have a problem. In 2 days, he would be goners and everything. He
I don't know. I think he just likes it. I think he's good at it when he's on.
No, he was losing and being. See, I just lost a lot of money. I'm like, okay, are we good? He's like, yeah, putting more money.
No,
on.
you're just scared of gambling because
No,
you
I'm
came
not
up
scared
to
of
the table.
gambling.
How much did you throw down the whole weekend?
$100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You came up to the table and I remember sitting there and you were like, "Did you just put down $100?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, but you know whatever." And then like I remember that first night, I had thrown down like $400 and I just lost it all and I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And you're like, "Did you just throw down like another $200?" And I was like, "Yeah, I brought it to play with." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you have to have that buffer of money to play with.
I had a smaller buffer. I wasn't afraid of gambling. I had a smaller buffer, a smaller budget. So I knew what I was going to play, and that was it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know a lot of the games. Like, I don't know how to play a lot of the games.
You're not a big gambler. You're just not a big gambler.
I really want to. I love Vice. I like to have more Vice in my life. Like, you know what I mean? Especially as I'm getting older, like, I need more. But I don't...
Well, there are game houses around town.
I know the
think
game
you
houses. You know what the
to.
admission charge is?
No.
Like $100 and also smoke a big old fucking ice pipe full of meth.
Is that what's up?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Singh told me, if you want to go in, I was like, I want to go. I fucking want to go. Like, he's like, it's all games, just like fucking arcade games. It's like rolling balls and fucking little fish.
And you can win
hooks.
money.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, yeah, that sounds dope. And he's like, cool. Are you down to smoke a little meth? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, well, we can't go then. I'm like, what do you mean? I just want to. He's like, no. Like, when you go in, like, basically, like, you buy like the fucking the tokens or whatever, and then you have to buy a little bit of meth. Like, it's like a whole thing, and you smoke. Everyone's smoking meth. If you're not smoking meth, they think you're a cop.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to the house then, you know, the gambling house.
Wow.
So I guess that's what it is. But I do want to do more gambling. I want to go to Vegas again. I want to learn more about specific games and how to play them. You know, I'm not the type of person to go into something not knowing what I'm doing. I don't like to look like a fool, you know?
Right.
Everything I go into, I want to at least have a good foundation.
At least mediocre.
I didn't really know what I was doing, so I stuck to the slot machines, and I'm going to put a little bit of money down on craps, or blackjack, but that was it. You know, I don't have enough knowledge of the games.
And then you're definitely gonna lose, because if you don't, you have to be ballsy when you're gambling.
You gotta
if
know,
you're not, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
You're
and
gonna
I watched
lose.
John put
If you
down,
play conservative, you're gonna lose.
Right. I saw John put a lot of money down. I saw him lose it, had a good attitude, put more money down. But I think he had a budget that night. I think he had like a $500 budget that night and was down to lose less money, you know?
Yeah, I definitely came with a budget on purpose, because I was like, I'm down to lose $500 a night in Vegas.
Right.
It's Vegas.
Yeah.
This is what I brought to lose, and if I make anything, great.
Yeah, that's a good attitude.
But that's, you know, it's not everybody's ready to.
I would have been down.
That sounds crazy to some people, and it's like, how much are you enjoying your time here, right? Like, what would you do for $500 a night that would make you like so stoked?
It's like sexual things. I don't know. I mean,
not that gambling makes me super stoked, but just the idea is like, I'm just here hanging out with my friends.
You're in Vegas.
This is the price. This is
how
the
much?
price.
What is the cost per hour? You know.
Yeah.
$100 an hour.
$100
for
an hour.
a really
yeah.
good time.
Basically.
In a really
but
cool
like
place.
free drinks though, right? So like, as long as you're tipping right, the drinks are gonna flow.
Yeah.
So tip good, gamble, free drinks.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm all for it, dude. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And then present me with a piece of wild caught Molokai elk, and who knows what happens? You know what I mean?
There you go.
So we'll see.
So okay.
We should wrap this up though.
Okay, I got one. I just have to ask, because I just did.
Oh boy.
Have you watched Leaving Neverland?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have watched that. I mean, I'm up to as far as it goes. I don't know.
2 episodes. I think it's done. I think that's it.
Yeah, dude.
And
I didn't have any long-term loyalties to him anyways. I always felt like there was something weird going on when
we fought it for so long.
Dude, I saw that shit on the news when I was a lot younger, and I always remember asking my mom and dad, what happened? Did he do a bad thing or not, you know? And they're like, oh, he's settled. I'm like, what does that mean, he's settled? And they're like, well, the families, they figured out how much money that he'll pay them, and if they're not going to go to court anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, so it sounds like he just doesn't want to have like a conviction of a fucking felony, you know? Even back then, and I just kind of skirted it off. So whenever I saw later shit from Michael Jackson, like when he died, I didn't have that overwhelming feeling of like, oh, we lost a legend. I thought he was a fucking perv back then.
Okay.
And dude,
so you already did.
I lip synced to Michael Jackson in elementary school.
Yeah.
I idolized him. I thought he was this shit, dude. I sang to Billy Idol, and I sang to Michael Jackson, and then after that, to the Beach Boys, because good old Brian Wilson, you know? But I sang My Bad, sang, not My Bad, but it is his bad. I'm Bad, lip sang it, My Bad, to Michael Jackson in like 3rd grade, and like in front of the whole school, because I was like, he's the shit, you know? I loved it. But I also got turned off when I saw that stuff. And a lot of the stuff came in all at once, you know? It was like kids at his house, and it was like Macaulay Culkin, and everything was just like...
Macaulay Culkin had his back the whole time.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think that maybe wasn't the same situation. I don't know.
Right.
But all I know is that it was a lot of weird stuff going on at one era of his life, and it was also the era where he was like shape-shifting, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, something's weird with this guy. Like, it's not all just like some genetic thing.
Definitely something's weird with this guy.
Like, something's really weird with this guy.
But like with that much genius comes crazy shit. I'm not saying, obviously, child molestation is not okay by any means, and I would never want to shame a victim. Watching that, I definitely went in very skeptical, just because he'd been acquitted every time. He'd settled out every time, which to me, you have children. I don't. How much money would it take for you to settle out of court for somebody who had molested your daughter? How much money? Dude?
No, I would put money on it, because I know that either way, the guy's not gonna have a long life ahead of him for one way or another, right? I think once you go down that road, I think you're on your.
So you're saying, yeah, take the money.
I mean, I would like, I don't know, that's a hard one. Millions and millions and millions of dollars to make my kid's life amazing, right? And then again, I don't know, what is it? Does that mean you can't talk about it till he's dead? Is that what it was? Is that why all those documentaries came out when he died?
See, that's the interesting part about it, right?
I think it is. I think it means there was a clause, you can't talk until he's dead. That's why they came out now.
You think he paid him off?
Oh, guaranteed. No, the settlement means you can't
Why wouldn't
talk
they say
about
that?
it at all.
No, these guys weren't settled.
Those two characters weren't settled out?
The two that talked in Leaving Neverland never had a settlement.
Did they ever go to court?
No.
Okay, so they're not part of it.
At least one of them, if not both, testified that he did never touch them.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I would take a settlement, and I would probably rally up some fucking gangster motherfuckers to just go take him out, or just cut off his dick or something crazy like that. I don't know. In reality, I don't know what I would do. It's not a normal scenario. What would you do if some guy sexually assaulted your child? This is evil things. But then
it doesn't get more terrible than that.
No, it doesn't.
So as a parent, which I'm not, but as a parent, how could you ever
that creepy stuff that they let
settle for something other than fuck him, send him to fucking prison forever? How could you ever settle for anything less?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
these guys in the documentary, they look ruined.
Right.
They look fucking
you can tell by the way they talk about the story too. And
I fought it the whole way, watching it through. I go, you remember the most traumatic thing that happened to you when you were 7 years old?
Nothing really.
You don't remember. I broke my arm.
Oh.
And the most detailed version I could tell you of that story is, I was running laps in school. I fell. I tripped.
Right.
And another kid, I think, stepped on my hand. My arm got broke. I don't remember any words. Went back to class. I told the teacher my arm hurt. She didn't believe me. They told me to pass out papers into people's cubby holes.
Then your fucking frumpy arm.
And I was fucked up. I had a broken arm. And somebody, I think it was my aunt, came to pick me up and was basically what the fuck? And she's like, I'm taking him out of here. And she took me to the doctor.
Right.
The next thing I remember in my life
right.
is getting the cast removed, which had to be a couple months later.
Well, you blocked out a lot of it.
I don't remember it. I just don't remember it.
Right.
These guys were giving detailed account, and I'm like, how could they possibly remember all that? Well,
their incident wasn't a one-day thing.
Right.
Theirs was an ongoing thing, you know.
And I don't want to discount it. By the end of seeing the whole thing, I go, yeah, it sounds like he fucking did it.
It sounds like he fucking did it. Yeah,
sounds
absolutely.
Like he did it.
I don't think that was a long story. These
but
guys. But
he's dead and he's not around to defend himself.
What are they gonna get out of it, anyways? At this point, nothing. So they're just.
I think they're gonna get money from this.
For the movie, but that's so crazy to be like, well, I'm gonna just speak about some fictional thing that happened for a documentary on Netflix. That's not gonna pay out very long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, anyways, I gotta piss so bad, dude.
Okay, yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Talk about all that stuff.
Thanks for coming.